All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another world history lesson. Today we're going to talk about the religions of India, Buddhism and Hinduism. I know there are other religions calling out the Sikhs and the Jainis, but we're talking about the big ones, Hinduism and Buddhism. Let's first jump into Hinduism today. So, first of all, got to make sure this Prezi works. Click, click, click. There we go. Yeah, India. Look, it's all the world religions. It's great. Okay, so Hinduism. It is the first major religion on planet Earth. Well, the longest lasting. This one has been around a real long time. Started in 1700 BC. Hinduism, they believe in a god named Brahman, and this is kind of a difficult concept to describe, but Brahman is a god with 1,000+ faces. There's almost unlimited faces of Brahman, and every time Brahman wears a different face, you call Brahman a different name. Brahman has different abilities, different specialties. So in some ways, Brahman is 1,000 things, but in other ways, Brahman is one thing. Also, Brahman changes gender with some faces. I think Brahman is a gender-neutral god. So sometimes a boy, sometimes a girl. Gender fluid, there we go. And some Hindus will tell you that Brahman is one god, Hinduism is a one god religion, but other Hindus will tell you, no, there's many versions of Brahman. I'm more comfortable in the category of saying that there are many versions of Brahman, that she is one and 1,000 all at the same time. A direct translation of Brahman is the universe. So Brahman's everyone, everything, 1,000 faces. Here's the symbol of Hinduism. It kind of looks like the number 30 with an accent mark over it. And yeah, a big part of the way I teach this is I have a lot of religious symbolism stuff. So if you ever see that symbol, you know it's all about Hinduism. So, all right, make sure you know this stuff. Let's keep moving through. So boom, the symbol of Hinduism, pretty cool. And then, the 1,000-face god. So many faces of Brahman. The elephant face is my favorite. We'll learn about that one a little bit more. But all of this is Brahman, 1 and 1,000. Okay, so yes, there are hundreds, thousands of Hindu gods, but the big three versions of Brahman are Brahma. See what they did there? Brahman, Brahma, the creator, so the building, the happy god. Vishnu, the preserver. Vishnu just kind of makes sure everything's chill. And then Shiva, the destroyer. If you had to make a kind of Christian correlation to say, like, is Shiva the devil? Well, sort of and sort of not, okay? Another translation of Shiva is Shiva's the recycler, the transformer. So Shiva's not entirely a bad thing. Shiva's changing things up, or Shiva. I've heard Shiva and Shiva, so whatever you want to pronounce it. But yes, the vast majority of people in India, 80% of people follow this religion. So yeah, we're talking about probably 1 billion people believe in Hinduism today. And India used to be so into Hinduism, it was known as Hinduistan. It was the Hinduistan of Central Asia. So yeah, let's check out Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Here we go. So Hinduistan, get it going on. Okay, so let's go with the big questions. What happens when you die? Hindus believe in reincarnation. The direct translation of this in the Hindu language is samsara, which means that when you die, you will come back to life as another being. And if you lived an exceptionally good life, if you were just the perfect person in every way, you could break the cycle of rebirth and live with Brahma forever as the divine spirit. Some Hindus even say that your face becomes one of the 1,000 faces of Brahman. And this concept is called moksha. It's you're breaking the cycle of rebirth and death. So yeah, that's what happens when you die. You just either come back, or the few rare people sort of join this kind of concept of heaven, where you join the gods and become one with the great god spirit. Okay, so that's what happens when you die in the Hindu faith. So let's check it out. Here's a great little visual, shows you, the old man dies, his spirit just sort of cycles back into a brand new baby, and you live life all over again. That's samsara for you. Okay, and then the god that's responsible for taking the spirit from a dead body and recycling it into a new baby is Shiva. And here's a pretty traditional statue of Hinduism where it's Shiva, the four-armed god, dancing on a baby, taking the soul of someone who recently died, throwing it into a brand new baby. So this is the cycle of what happens when you die according to Hinduism. But now let's talk about it. So where do souls go once someone dies? Well, there's this whole concept called karma. I hope people have heard of this concept before, but this is a pretty integral part of the Hindu faith. And it's sort of like the gods, especially Shiva, is watching you your entire life and is keeping track of every time you do a good thing and every time you do a bad thing. And then the moment when you die, Shiva will sort of look at the balance of your good versus your evil you've done to the world. And with that knowledge, Shiva will either put you in the body of, I don't know, a poor person's baby, or put you in the body of a wealthy family's baby. So that's how this scale works. And if someone lived an exceptionally bad life, Shiva could take your soul and put it into a cockroach. But there's no concept of hell. Like, the worst person on planet Earth, their soul will go into a cockroach, and then if they lived a great life as a cockroach, I guess, Shiva will take that cockroach soul and put them in a rat, and then they'll live a great life as a rat, they'll put them into a dog, and then a great life as a dog, put them into a poor person, and then a great life as a poor person, put you into a cow. Yes, I didn't mess that up. You live a great life as a cow, and then you go into maybe, the middle class, upper class, and if you live the perfect life as maybe like a wealthy person, then your soul escapes the cycle of samsara and you become one with moksha. You break and join the gods. So that's karma. So do good things for other people. Increase your karma score. Give gifts, be nice, say compliments, and don't be a mean person. So there you go. That's karma. All right, so yeah, these people are obviously giving each other gifts, making karma happen. And yep, there's the cycle of life again, the samsara, and the whole dancing on a baby. Okay, so also so that's what happens to the soul when you die. But what happens to the physical body? Well, Hindus generally don't believe in burying dead bodies. The Hindu faith says that a dead body should be cremated, it should be burned, and ideally the ashes, whatever's left over after you burn that body, you put the ashes into the Ganges River in India. There are Hindus who die all over the world. They cremate their ashes, they put their ashes in a jar, and they ship the ashes straight back to India in order to be put in the river. I talked to a Hindu person once, and they said that in the event that, I don't know, you somehow can't get the body back to the Ganges, you just put it in the ocean or into a river, and the belief is somehow it'll eventually get back to the Ganges. So plenty of Hindu people, this is the destination. You go back to India and you put your family's ashes in this river. And I think the concept too is the Ganges River is a very holy river to the Hindu faith, and they believe this is sort of where the creation of life begins. So they see this as kind of like a way to get a little karma boost right even after someone dies. So let's check it out. Here's the map of the Ganges River. The water comes all the way up from Mount Everest, and it goes straight through the great floodplains of India. So this is the big river of the country of India. Here it is close to the Himalayas and Mount Everest. And here it is, and it's a really popular river. There's always people there. It's super duper crowded. Hindu people believe that simply drinking the water of this holy river will help purify your soul, give you more karma, that stuff too. But as we can see here, the river isn't exactly super clean. It's actually quite dirty and disgusting. And some of my students have asked me, well, why don't they clean the river? Well, the Hindu belief is that this is a holy river and that all this stuff was put there by the gods. So you don't really want to mess with that too much. Here's a dead pig, so you should probably not swim next to a dead pig. It could give you a disease. Yeah, not a good idea, I don't think. And here's dead person's body. They're gonna burn it, put the ashes in the Ganges, and there they are burning a bunch of bodies. And yep, you believe that you go there, you wash away your sins, scatter ashes in the river, have a better life. And there they are, dumping grandma into the Ganges. That's just what Hindus do to dead bodies. Okay, now the holy books, like how do you know about all the different gods? How do you know the karma scale? How do you know about samsara and moksha? That's all talked about in these 4 holy books. You don't have to know the names of the holy books, but they all end in the word Veda, so they're collectively called the Vedas. The Rig Veda, the Yaruda Veda, the Sama Veda, and the Arithma Veda. And then another thing you'll probably see in Hindu culture is this red dot that's sometimes placed on women especially. And it's called a bindi, and it's a red dot between a woman's eyes, and it typically means that a Hindu woman is married. So, I mean, think about what do we do in our culture to show that a woman's married? Well, there's a wedding ring, okay? You like it, you should have put a ring on it. Thank you, Beyonce. And I know that the red dot is actually used with other cultures too, but other cultures have different meanings to it, so you shouldn't just simply assume the red dot is marriage, but at least most Hindus will equate it as such. All right, let's keep going. So there's the Vedas. Oh, look at that symbol. It's come up again. And then here's the picture version of the Vedas. So all these different gods and showing what the gods do. And there's some Hindu people studying. Oh, it's a Bindi woman. And then, oh, this is Selena Gomez. She's culturally appropriating. How dare you? All right, so now let's talk about the caste system. This is a pretty integral part of Hinduism as well. And the caste system is sort of this social hierarchy it's not official law in India anymore, but for a long period of India's history, it was official law. And there are 5 classes in the caste system: the Brahmin, the Kayashra, the Vaishya, the Sudra, and the Dalits, or also known as untouchables. I'm not going to make you learn the top 4 classes. It's the bottom class that interests me the most, but I'll still talk about them. So the Brahmin class, those are considered like the super wealthy, super awesome people of the world. It's just sort of accepted in the Hindu belief that they must have lived a great life in the past, and now they're given this awesome life currently. Some Brahmin would be like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos today, if our culture was super into Hinduism. But those are the ones who are typically doing people that are involved in teaching about faith. Teachers, I guess, are mostly considered Brahmin, but if you're a university professor, you're probably a Brahmin. Okay, and then the second tier of society is the Kayashra. Those are the people kind of in charge of government, probably the police officers, soldiers, generals. Below them are the Vaishya. They engage in commercial activity. They're probably business owners. So really the first 3, they're all like the top members of society. And then we get to the Shudra. The Shudra are probably 90% of people in India who they're just sort of, quote, the middle class, maybe the kind of lower class. And they're the skilled workers, the laborers, the farmers, the majority of the human beings for most of India's history. But then we get to the untouchables, the Dalits. These people are quite interesting to me because, according to the caste system, they are technically not considered people. They are considered below cows. They are just openly hated on and considered worthless. And, the Dalits, they don't really have like a racial connection. Like there's some light-skinned Dalits, there's some dark-skinned Dalits. But they're all known to the caste system as people who are only allowed to work in mines, toilets, garbage collection. They're considered the dirty people of society, and yeah, like they're like it's rough being a Dalit. Okay, you don't want to be a Dalit in India, and Dalits also, strange to me, believe in the Hindu faith, and a Dalit will work in these really disgusting conditions. And they'll say, well, at the end of my life, if I, smile every day, if I try really hard, my karma will move me up in samsara, and I can live another life as a Shudra or a Vaishya. So, all right, moving on. So up here's the four top classes, and notice that the Dalits aren't even on the list. So yeah, here's even though the caste system is still kind of a tradition and not legal, still you could go to anybody in India and ask them like, what caste are you ancestrally from, and people will know. And there's very little intermarrying between castes. The idea of a Brahmin girl marrying an untouchable boy, that's impossible. But anyway, let's play the game called Identify the Caste. So here we go. This guy's probably a Brahmin. This dude's probably a Dalit or an untouchable. Yeah, they're literally pouring poop on him, so he's gonna be a Dalit, no doubt. And here's some Dalit kids trying to learn how to read by candlelight. It's pretty rough. Okay, so let's talk about cows. Cows is a big deal to the Hindu people. The divine cow. You ever heard the expression holy cow? It came from India. Anyway, the cow is seen as a representation of God. Now, not every Hindu is as super into the cow thing. And actually, I should comment on this. Different Hindus will have different values to certain Hindu gods. Like some Hindus are totally into Vishnu, and some are totally into Brahmin. But anyway, the cow is generally an important thing. You do not want to eat beef in India. A lot of Hindu people really love cows, and I've read reports about like a dude killed a cow in India, and then a mob of Hindus came and killed him, and they all thought it improved their karma. So, and it's actually really common in India today for cows just kind of walk around major cities, and people just pray by the cows. You know, the cow will walk through traffic, the cars will stop, people get out and pray. So, yeah, they really show love to cows. Okay, they're important. So, yep, people really love cows in India. And I mean, you know, they milk cows and they drink milk and they get yogurt and cheese, but you never eat a cow, okay? You're not going to find a steak restaurant or a hamburger restaurant in India today. No way. So they're praying with the cow. And Hinduism encourages vegetarianism. Obviously, they will never eat beef, but there are some Hindus that have no problem eating chicken or fish. But for the most part, being vegetarian in India would be super easy. And I'll tell you, I've eaten a lot of Indian food in my life, and there's some great vegetarian options. So yeah, go to McDonald's in India. You will not find a Big Mac, okay? You'll find the chicken Maharaja Mac. So there you go. Anyway, delicious Hindu food. Get it. Have a good time. All right, and Buddhism, I'll talk about that next time. All right, so peace out.